first impression was, wow, these are just really nice guys who have made me feel at home.
They're so passionate about everything they did.
I stayed over in Gabe's room doing my prospe visit. He was really quiet. He told me a lot about Willamette, and I tried to talk to him about other stuff, and that was harder.
Jeremy is also really quiet. I feel like I only really got to know Jeremy this year.
I thought Alex was a kleptomaniac.
When it comes to Andrew Raymond, my first impression was, whose uncle is this and where did he come from?
Yeah, the women's team, they definitely just like live ahead and a lot of fun.
I was scared of Bailey when I first got here.
Are we allowed to cuss?
Bailey was my host for my visit, and she was just so like sister, just like honest, and answered literally any question. And I asked a lot of questions, and she like didn't care, and she showed me literally everything of Willamette.
Bailey was very like sister vibes. I totally get that. And then Cassie also, like, they were both just so easy to talk to for me. I wasn't as scared of them as you.
Cassie is very tall.
She's 7'6", actually.
Now knowing them, I'm not scared of them at all.
No, Cassie gives the best hugs. Okay, obviously I didn't hug her at first because she was scary, but like.
And then Jewel, I just thought she was also a sweetheart.
She just accepts you for who you are, open arms and a big smile on your face.
Yeah. Kelsey, I was like, I wanted to be her friend so bad, so I DM'd her on Instagram and I was like, do you want to go to Gowdy and get lunch? And she was like, no.
Right off from the start, like, we had a great connection and we stayed up talking.
You had a connection?
Yeah, we had a connection.
She was probably like, Adele, what do you do in Texas? The first impression of Anna, I actually got this year since she was a freshman at Willamette and then a senior at Willamette. So it was a super cool impression to just see someone, a new player, coming into a senior role and being able to be this fierce, competitive leader.
My first impression of Natalie was that she was very quiet and shy. However, when she was on the court, she was able to like put balls away, and it was just like insane.
My first impression of Kella was on my Bearcat days when I came as a prospective student. She was just such a kind soul and just a ray of sunshine.
Morgan, it's funny, I actually participated in the Willamette basketball camp when I was an incoming senior and she was an incoming freshman here. So I didn't even know she was on the team. I just thought she was another high school player. For Amanda, just very quiet and reserved.
Yeah, I also just thought Amanda was very quiet, very shy, very reserved, and ended up being not that.
I met Laura on my visit. She was kind of a spaz, just like everywhere.
Kind of.
Yeah. But I think one of the first things that I noticed about Laura was that I really wanted to be her teammate.
Emma and Sydney were always like super kind and very caring right off the bat.
Isabel was definitely someone that I knew right away that I was going to look up to.
I think I was a little intimidated by them just because they were all very fast and very confident in the pool.
Yeah, they were all very welcoming. Mm-hmm. And I know at least my first year I was like pretty nervous about coming onto a college team, but they made it feel like we were good friends from the first day.
Mm-hmm.
At least for me, she was very shy. At first, definitely, when she came in, I honestly did not think that she was in the grade that she was in, but after she got comfortable with all of us, she really started to open up, and you got to see like her bright personality and just like all the energy she brings.
My first impression of Audrey was that they were going to be my tall friend on the team. My first impression of Molly was probably just that she was like super involved in the team, especially just because she's been through a lot of injuries, but she still like shows up for us and is super supportive of us. So she comes across as a very put together and well-involved person, which is awesome.
So my first impression of Dawson was definitely somebody as like a father figure to me.
Miller was very quiet and wise, I saw early on.
When I thought of Matt, you know, the first thing that stuck out was definitely someone who's happy all the time, who's jolly, super nice and kind.
Tyler Vandermark, what a serious presence, just a super serious guy.
Eaton, just having him walk on the pool and seeing him, I'm just like, okay, I'm scared of this man. And then you just get to know him and then you talk to him and he's like, okay, this is a really nice guy. He's just really built and scary.
We were at a swim meet, and that was the first time I've ever like really gotten to talk to him. And I was like, I have to make this guy laugh so he doesn't eat me.
My first impression of Robbie was, oh, he's tall.
My first impression of Mike was he was just a really good dude.
Down the street, he joined the team a little late my freshman year, but you know, he made it a point right away to bring a lot of energy, and he made a lot of people smile.
First impression of Sam was he kind of seemed like a dad to me, but turned out he was pretty much the opposite of that.
My first impression of Max Anderson was that he was a goofball and a clown, and after getting to know him, he was definitely a goofball and a clown.
Zeno was a smaller guy, but he packed a lot of like punch in everything he said.
Matt Fick.
The dog.
Dog.
First impression was that really old, goofy guy of the group. You know, it was like the grandpa, it felt like.
Carson Pies.
Overall, it's just a cool guy.
Mm-hmm.
That has to be edited.
I think for Emma, I would definitely say passionate. It doesn't really matter what it is, whether it's lacrosse, archaeology, or even like knitting or crocheting. She's super passionate about anything that she does and puts 100% into everything.
There's a lot of words to describe Laura.
Isabel is very inspiring. Julia is very determined. Jordan, super chatty, very chatty.
Biggest cheerleader out there.
Sydney's really kind. For Anna, I would definitely say determined.
Yeah, I would say for Maddie, she's just kind and caring.
I would also say for Maddie, chaos.
Chaos.
She is chaotic. I would also say Min is rather surprisingly violent.
I would also say Anna is mischievous. Like, she is always scheming.
I'd say vibrant. We always say this, but like whenever she smiles, like our day just gets so much better.
Word to describe Audrey is, I feel like, calm.
Dawson Enright, one word to describe him would be savvy.
One word to describe Eric Waldachuk is large.
One word to describe Justin Miller would be peculiar.
One word to describe Matt would be ice.
One word to describe Ryan Whithorn would be old.
One word to describe Tyler Vandermark would be cramps.
For Austin, it's got to be machine. We call him the Austino Machino, and that's what he is.
And then when it came to the women's team, one word, I would say resilient.
Well, mine is still passionate. Yeah, they're excited about everything they do and put their heart into it.
Very dramatic. Robbie is a very dramatic character.
Yeah, I would say sassy, but in the best way possible.
Gabe is a grumpy uncle.
Alex is pretty chaotic. I live with Alex. Great guy. Definitely kind of leaves a tornado of things everywhere he goes. Jeremy's pretty reserved.
I think Kelsey is also, she's like very, she's just such a joy.
Kelsey is aloha.
She's aloha. She's a joy. I think joy is my word for Kels. One word that describes Anna super well would be grandpa.
I guess if we're saying grandpa, one word that describes Kella would be mom.
I would describe Morgan as reliable. She's someone who would always have your back, and if I were to go into a fight, she'd be someone I want to have going with me.
Yeah, Amanda, I would say strong. She's the strongest person I know, both mentally and physically. Like, she's jacked.
I'd just say for Bothell, I would say passionate.
The word I'd use for Mike is perseverance. He went through a lot of injuries at his time here, but you know, he always pushed through, came back. One word to describe Dylan, I would say clown. He was always clowning around.
One word I would use to describe Dylan Sparks is tough.
One word that I would use to describe Sam Adams would be resilient.
One word that I would use to describe Max is kind. When I got here, he definitely took me under his wing.
One word I would use to describe Ethan is swaggy.
Austin, I would say probably just like super relaxed.
Carson was a really sweet guy.
Cole Fisher was just an all-around cool guy.
Maddie will get into any argument about like anything.
I also love when like you start to get into an argument with Maddie and she'll like stand like this. She's like, she's like ready.
Well, Jeanette's a really good bowler. She's got this technique of she'll do it and release from the top.
Oh.
So it makes a nice loud sound in the bowling alley.
I think Audrey and the amount of milk they drink.
Oh my God,
it's a
so
lot.
true. Yeah.
Something funny that Eric Waldachuk does is that he picks the kicker for the Atlanta Falcons Youngwei Koo every year in the 7th round for fantasy football.
For Matt Pisacane, he always dresses like he's in a 70s sitcom.
Something funny that Tyler Vandermark does is that you'll never meet someone who will sit down at a computer longer and do very little.
Balsa would go around practice with his belly out every day. Doesn't matter if it's cold, it's raining, doesn't matter. He's got the belly out.
Ryan Morgan, also, he just loved to talk about Montana.
Something Sparks would do that's quirky is that he would do these really long breaks after practice. He'd have like a whole spiel that he'd give for a break. It'd be like 2022 Willamette University Bearcat running backs, 6 p.m. practice on 3, 1, 2, 3, and make us say it all.
Something funny Austin does is he loves to take a really long time in his routine and then think he's not the slow player.
I don't know, sometimes it's cool. The girls get really excited when they make a long putt, and you can hear them on the other hole. They'll be like, "Yay!"
Something funny about Andres is every time he makes a birdie putt, he likes to scream, "Game on!" and throw a big fist bump on it for no reason.
They're super competitive. It might not be quirky or funny to people on the outside, but no matter what we're doing, whether we're playing a board game, FIFA, everything is a competition, and it's really what drives them.
Absolutely love Catan. You can play for hours, just yelling at people about, trading wood for wheat.
Keaton, before he races or to get anyone hyped up, he barks. I don't know if it's because of maybe the football team, but he barks at people.
How Robbie's quirky, it's just because he's tall. I feel like anything that Robbie does is funny because he's just a really tall person.
I think the funniest thing that Robbie does is at mile practices he always has the most interesting music choices that we listen to during it. Like it's Disney music, and then it's sometimes oh, let's listen to some Lady Gaga or something. Just mix those two together in the middle of practice.
Carson always wears a headband when he races. This has been the case for as long as I've known him. Looks like he's about to go star in the next Karate Kid movie.
Although Nat seems very shy, she loves to just sing and dance in the locker room, which is something that makes all of us laugh. And it's just really funny to be around and such a calming and comforting environment for all of us.
Something about Kella on the court, she's just always doing jumping jacks. She's always jumping. Even into our arms. She got a kill from the back row and she jumped up and we just caught her.
Amanda has amazing burps. They are great, and every time I burp, she'll rate my burps.
Morgan, she prefers to sit on the floor, so she has a floor pillow that is basically a dog bed.
Emma will always try to guess the time. So if you someone's is it time to start practice, or is it time to go outside? She'll try to guess it, and sometimes you can't even tell that she's guessing. She'll be a minute off. But other times she'll be 15 minutes off and just making random guesses. For Laura, she will, in the middle of a conversation, start a British accent or a Western accent, and she'll just
a country accent.
Yeah, just carry on the rest of the conversation in that accent.
Emma will eat the wrong food before training and regret it instantly. Paige can never find her training outfit, so she steals someone else's, whether it's bigger or smaller, it doesn't matter, she'll wear it.
Okay, I like Kelsey's head bop, yeah, you did earlier, whenever you're talking to her, she's okay. She's okay.
I've heard Austin likes doing push-ups in his hotel room.
Oh, don't forget he cleans his gloves in the sink too the night before. Make sure they're perfect. Raymond's best routine is just drink a bang before the round. That'll get him going to pump the first one OB. I don't know, so, the girls team loves to just have Starbucks before the round.
I was going to say, yeah.
They're a big coffee team.
Either Starbucks or Dutch, they're hitting one of them up.
Once again with Keaton, just the barking. Just seeing him getting ready and hyping himself up and then just start barking on the side of the pool.
Carson likes to say that the pain is a terrorist and we don't negotiate with terrorists.
Anna goes to Starbucks before every single meet and gets a venti cold brew just to make herself poop, so she doesn't have to poop once she's swimming.
I don't know really what Min does, but I kind of like to imagine her just in her room listening to like death metal.
Camille honestly doesn't have a ton that's like specific to her. The one thing that I constantly remember her saying is, this time I'm not gonna just hit lobs.
Audrey has steeple socks. I don't remember what is on them, but they're steeplechase specific socks.
Phil will like breathe, like everyone's kicking around and he's like just sitting there, like perfect posture, like eyes closed, and I don't know, it looks like he's in like a different world.
Mac would have these little note cards, and I don't know, nobody knew what he had written on them, but he would just sit down on the bench about 5 minutes before we got out there, read the note cards, ground himself a little bit.
They're black bands. So we have to warm up with these black bands. We do specific kind of like ankle exercises with them, and they know which band is whose. Like they will steal the other person's band or throw it at them if they know it's the wrong one.
The funniest in-game thing that Dawson Enright does is he takes the longest time possible to pitch the ball. One in-game routine that Justin Miller has is he takes as little of time as possible to pitch to batters.
Eric Waldachuk, he likes to throw a couple balls to every batter so then he can throw his fastball and just say, yeah, I throw really hard.
Something that Matt Pisacane does is, I swear, every time he pitches in a different game, he has a different funky windup and pitch movement.
One thing that Bandy does is he likes to fall down before he catches the ball, just to make it a little harder on himself.
Something funny that Ryan Whithorn does is, it's the craziest thing, that he turns into Barry Bonds in midweek games.
Jewel will always eat trail mix before every game.
Oh, she does
Or
often
peanuts.
have...
She's a
nut lover. I feel like Bailey she's like always in the zone before games. Like she's one of those players.
Sparks pregame would get like 150 jump cuts in, and that's a lot of jump cuts to be getting in pregame.
Ball's stomach, he's just walking around the locker room just with his belly out.
Personally, I can tell you from one in-game ritual that Matt Fick had was constantly telling Dayton which way to go and who to block.
Ethan would dry scoop a cup of pre-workout before every game and then choke on it every time.
I guess for Carson, you could say that he was always coming dripped out in his cowboy hat, cowboy boots every game.
Paige doesn't have a routine for most things, but the one thing she sticks to is giving an inspirational speech always before a game.
Emma will show up 2 minutes before we have to be on the field, but she'll be there, cleats on, ready to go.
If Dawson Enright was to have a YouTube channel, it would to be how to effectively shape facial hair.
If Eric Waldachuk had his own YouTube channel, it would be about him traveling the world to various places and hitting nukes everywhere he goes.
If Matt Pisacane had a YouTube channel, it would be how to not care at all, but still be very, very successful.
If Tyler Vandemark had a YouTube channel, it would be how to effectively procrastinate.
Kelsey's would probably be about like what deals are coming up with what brands. Probably like Lululemon reviews, things
Anything
like that.
clothes. Like a haul
anything deals,
channel.
anything BOGO free.
And Jewel would be like hiking or good like
Oh, yeah.
outdoorsy.
Like
fitness account.
Total montage fitness hike account.
But like not like
Exploring.
the toxic ones.
I'll start with Maddie. I think that she would have a gluten-free baking channel.
Definitely.
Where she either reviews like old West Coast rap or talks about education reform.
I think Dana would have a YouTube channel about Luna, her dog.
Oh my gosh, right,
and
yes.
about the running adventures that
true.
she takes her dog on. I think also Molly and Audrey would have a joint YouTube channel with something like oddly specific.
It'd be very wholesome.
Audrey could just straight up have a dairy channel.
If Ryan Morgan had a YouTube channel, it'd be about the word of the Lord. I feel like Max would have a Madden YouTube channel.
If Dylan had a YouTube channel, it would be dedicated to posting videos about his cat. If Ethan had a YouTube channel, it would be a sports podcast, hanging out with the bros.
Cena's would have to be Life Without the Top Shelf.
I honestly think Cole would just be talking about his cat.
I know this one exactly. If Anna had a YouTube channel, it would be like the nature walks. It would basically just be Anna running around showing everyone cool trees and just really awesome plants.
Well, one of our seniors does have a YouTube channel, Vidu Raj. It's about just soccer clips. shooting epic shots, epic dribbles. He edits them himself. Like, it's awesome. Badoo.
I think if Mac would have one, it would be style. There'd be a lot of tight pants and Chelsea boots.
Emma's would be about crafts, like everything crafts. Laura's would just be like a vlog channel, like a day in the life, like that's definitely
She's got
what she
this
would
like
do.
old Tumblr account. That's what I imagine her YouTube channel would be like.
Not to out her, but she has, if you want, a DIY Starbucks Instagram.
God, yeah.
So if she had a YouTube channel, she would be like making the DIY Starbucks drinks like in her home, like bring her dogs into the video.
Probably rating boys on The Bachelorette.
I'll always remember how invested they were in having us become the best versions of ourselves.
I'll always remember Ryan's smile and just his attitude was very contagious. Also, he scored some ridiculous goals.
Most of them were defenders, so I always got to go against them in practice, and like they were always talking just full time, something in your ear, which was nice and it wasn't, but I'll always remember.
I'll always remember Mac's Chelsea boots.
For Omar specifically, that man's stomach was endless, and that I'll never forget that. He could eat anything and everything in front of him.
Alex is always really supportive. He really cared about the team.
Jeremy, I feel like, has a really good work ethic. I mean, we see him out there in practice all the time, just hammering 400s or practicing endlessly on block starts.
Cassie's hugs. She gives the best hugs.
I think they always had like a mindset for how to be better in the years coming. They never really like checked out, which was really nice because I think they were always just like all in all the time until the end.
Honestly, they're just such good people. And like, yeah, they're good swimmers and we love them for everything that they do in the pool, but we also love them for everything they do out of the pool. And I think that's what we'll remember the most.
Honestly, I just feel like her smile, it's like everyone says that her smile is so good, and it's true. Like, she just has a very, like, nice, like, laughing, genuine smile. So.
Something I always remember about Andrew Raymond is that no matter how you're playing, you will always have to talk trash.
I'll just remember Austin's winning putt on 18, knocked it 6 feet by, and just cold as ice.
Something I always remember about the girls is just have a good time, relax, you know. Sometimes tournaments we get tense and we get too focused, and they just remind us that we're just playing golf, man. There's not much to it.
Yeah.
Isabel's love for the game.
Yep, she always said, there's always joy to be found out on the pitch.
Julia never stops working hard, never.
Nope, but she'll always find time for a nap.
They really cared about the team above all else, and they were a really good group of guys.
They were always ready to come to the field and give their all for the rest of the team.
For Bothell, he was my sparring partner. He was my lifting partner for 4 years. You know, like, I always remember every practice that we had, every rep. He was my scout lineman. He was my partner all the way throughout for the entirety of my time here.
Something I'm going to remember Mike for, you know, just always pushing me and everyone in the group to be better. With Dylan, something I'm always going to remember him by is just, like, always bringing a sense of humor, you know, like, if someone was feeling down or it was a bad day, like, you know, you could count on him to lift up the mood.
For Ryan, I just always remember he really was, like, a mentor and someone that I wanted to be like on the practice field and outside of class, or outside of football.
I always remember how Max would, in-game, like, sit there and he'd, like, put his hands on his hips, but, like, the wrong way.
I will always remember the laughs we had with them. I will also always remember Morgan's sarcastic comments to me and the not so nice things she might say to me, but I take them as if they're words of love.
Another memory I have of Robbie is when we would have like Shakira playing while we're practicing, you can just hear him at the other end of the lane just screaming the lyrics out loud.
I don't know if there's something that I will always remember about Anna, but I will definitely always remember Anna.
Something that I'll always remember is our freshman year. We had to travel to the Wits on Halloween, and Natalie was dressed in her cow onesie that had like little udders on it.
You've just set such a solid foundation for us to continue the legacy that you've built. and for us to move forward and be successful in the future.
Thank you for welcoming all of us onto this team when we first got here.
Thank you for never forgetting to laugh.
Yeah, they always bring laughter to the field and to our lives every day.
Last one, fast one.
Thank you, Camille. We love you. We love you.
I love you all so much. Distance runners included.
I am just so glad that I got to know all of you, and you've really contributed to my positive experiences with this team.
To Mike, I appreciate the time you put into our program. Dylan, I appreciate you for coming out for your last year.
Thank you for laying the groundwork for what we wanted to do and build. And I know sometimes that could have been frustrating. You guys did a great job of, being role models to us and helping us create the example that we wanted the program to become.
I want to just say thank you for all the kindness and being so welcoming.
Thank you for just being who you are and kind of showing me the way, letting me know how the program should be run.
2 of the 2.5 men is finally retired. There's only a half man left. Enjoy retirement, boys.
Thank you for taking us under your wing.
Thinking about how we're going to be juniors, and that's where like Austin, Carson, Cena, we're all at when we came in. I don't feel as mature as they came across.
Yeah, definitely don't.
And so kind of just thank you for setting the example.
Thank you guys for grounding me off the field, but also keeping balls out of the goal.
We love you guys.
We love you guys.
I love you! Well, okay, so I was going to be graduating with you guys, so I just want to say, thank you for being my class until this year, really, and I love you all so much.
Love a lot. We all know y'all are going to do great things in
Yay.
the future, and are really proud of all of y'all.
We're really going to miss this group of seniors. We're really losing a very good group of leaders.
We hope to take all the lessons you've taught us into our futures as well. Thank you guys so much.
For the girls teams, thank you for all the laughs and all the support and all the loves and hugs after bad rounds, good rounds.
Kella, words can't explain how thankful I am to have you in my life and to call you my best friend, my teammate, and just overall bigger sister. I'm so glad that I lived with you this school year, because I was just with you 24/7, and that was really a blessing. And I love you.
Bye.
Bye, girl.
Goodbye, seniors. Take care. Brush your hair.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, Camille. I love you.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Deuces.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.